Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we are going to be finding out what happens if Arthur kills Mrs. Downs instead of actually helping her. So you can actually attempt this if you want in Chapter 4. Now, there's a couple prerequisites for this. You first have to start the mission, Help a Brother Out. Now, before we begin, I apologize. I turned my subtitles off to record something real quick, and I forgot to turn them back on. Usually, I do have them on for videos, so it's much easier to see. Hopefully, it's not a big deal for videos going forward. They'll be back on. But anyways, you have to talk to Brother Dorkins, who is outside of the Saint Denis market area, and this will trigger the mission, Help a Brother Out.
You, kind sir, will you help the poor?
I ain't so kind.
Yes, you are, sir. You have it in you, I can tell.
I'm a nasty bit of work, Father.
You're wrong on 2 counts, sir. I'm a humble brother, a penitent monk, not a priest, and you're a magnificent bit of work. You may have made some poor choices, but which of us hasn't?
You have no idea.
But you do, and God does, and that's enough for me and for him.
We shall see.
That we shall, sir. But why don't you hedge your bets and give 2 bits to the poor? There are so many who will go hungry tonight.
Sure.
Bless you, sir.
How you getting on, anyhow?
These are a somewhat apathetic lot, I'm afraid.
My mentor says that America is designed to induce apathy in people.
It's a wonderful insight. He must be a wise man, your mentor.
Well, sometimes he's a downright fool, but, well, usually he's the best man I know.
That's wonderful. The thing is, well, poverty will always be with us. But slavery, I thought we had banished that. Like Saint Denis is acting as a staging post for shipping slaves out to some of the islands.
I don't believe you. It's 1899.
Maybe you should take a look for yourself. I've heard that the pawnbroker down the block around the corner, the one with the green door, well, they say he sells more than forlorn trinkets. Help the poor.
Okay, so we've covered this mission in the past. Basically, the Saint Denis fence has a really dark secret, and Arthur has to investigate the shop. And he basically finds out what he's hiding by questioning the fence.
A bit of a strange question, but you heard tell of slavers around here, buddy?
What?
Where are they?
Who?
People you're hiding. I know they're here, don't lie to me.
Please, they made me do it. I was always good to them, but they forced me to do it, sir, I swear.
Where are they?
There's a door behind the bookcase there. Just pull the big red book called The Scourge of Crossbreeding by Harold McDougall.
Okay, so as it turns out, the Saint Denis fence is like a trading post for slaves, and they're being kept in the basement. Really cool stuff. You basically have to free the captives. There's a couple of other things you can do from there, like robbing the register and giving that money to the captives for some extra honor. And then you return to Brother Dorkins, who is outside waiting.
Brother
Dorkins, friend.
Arthur Morgan. Come on. You were right. I found these 2 imprisoned in that shop.
Oh my, well, they are blessed to have met you, Arthur.
Trust me, in that they're very unusual. I don't think they speak much English.
My brothers, come. Let's go get something to eat. Manger. Comida, please.
Hey, you forgot this?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Here. Payment. For your services. I could not have freed these men myself.
Give it to the poor, brother.
Thank you. I will. Like I said, magnificent. Come on. Come. Come see me again sometime. I often work at the old church on Gasper Street in St. Francis.
Okay, so that right there is the first prerequisite you have to do. Completing that mission, Help a Brother Out, will allow you to unlock the next mission, which I think happens only a couple hours later, but I slept a full day just to make sure. And you can find Brother Dorkins actually at the church that's in Saint Denis. I don't know what it's called, but you can find him there. He's going to be on the steps with another sister, and you can start the mission Brothers and Sisters, one and all.
Warm.
Sister, my friend, Mr. Morgan.
Oh, sir. Brother Dorkins told me about the wonderful thing you did.
Oh, he talks a lot of nonsense. No offense.
None taken at all. Hey, stop!
These kids, they're the worst!
Don't hurt him, please!
Okay, so we have to go chase after that kid that stole her crucifix, and this leads you through a little chase through the city, and you ask about where the kid might be, and then you end up finding him on the street, and this is what happens.
Get off me!
Where's my watch, you little weasel?
I don't know nothing about no damn watch.
Hey, you! Why don't you leave the boy alone?
What's it to do with you?
I can hit a lot harder than you. I promise you that.
All right, forget it. Little shit ain't even worth my time.
Thanks, mister.
Hey, you want some company, mister?
No.
You sure?
Hey,
What?
I don't know you. This is Downs?
Not you. Get away.
How?
Now.
I mean, hey.
Help!
w-
Help!
Hold on.
This man is bothering
Now-
me. Someone help me. Officer, help!
Okay, so as you saw there, Arthur ran into Edith Downs, Mrs. Downs. However, the game sort of pushes you away from her and the law. However, one thing I noticed is that the law is super easy to get around during this mission. So what I did is instead of going towards the objective, I went back towards Mrs. Downs, who tries to escape out the back. And I'm telling you guys, if Mrs. Downs ran a 40 time in the 40-yard dash, she would be booking it. Because look how quick she is. Like, I literally cannot even catch up with her here. So one thing I tried to do was I tried to aim my gun at her, but I didn't want to shoot her immediately. So I was having trouble catching up with her. So I got on my horse, and I was actually going to try and lasso her. Well, it turns out you cannot lasso her. I found that to be kind of interesting. So once that happened, I found out, well, can you actually shoot her? Turns out you can't shoot her either. Well, I still wanted to see what would happen if you could kill Mrs. Downs. So I thought my best approach here would literally be to run her over. Now, is this the most effective strategy? I don't know, but for this experiment, it got the job done. So you can see that I was successfully able to kill Edith Downs, and then I was able to loot her body if I wanted to, or pick her up. And this is significant because remember, we are in Chapter 4. And Mrs. Downs appears not only in a couple of missions in Chapter 6. Now, granted, they are optional missions, but she does appear. And she also shows up in the cutscene of the credits, like the final credits of the game with her son, Archie. So this sort of raises another question. Well, what would happen to those missions? Now, I didn't have the chance to actually test this out because this is in the beginning of Chapter 4. Those missions, which I mentioned earlier, happen in Chapter 6. In case you've never seen them, I'll leave a link to those in the description so you can actually check it out for yourself. It's actually a pretty cool and wholesome mission. And then, of course, as I'm sure by now, you have checked out the credits of the game where you can find her in that. Now, if I had to take a wild guess, I would say that because you can't normally, if you can see my air quotes here, kill Mrs. Downs, like you can't hog tie her on your own volition and you can't end up, shooting her, that she would likely just respawn. I'm sure Rockstar would call this death that we caused right here an anomaly and not something that would, cause the butterfly effect to occur where Mrs. Downs doesn't exist, thus the missions don't exist, and she doesn't appear in the final cutscene of the game. I would actually be shocked if that was the case. But again, that's what happens if you are able to kill her. You can loot her, you can pick her up, which I do think is kind of funny just to see this whole thing go down. Now, as I told you guys about earlier, the law is like super easy to avoid. You guys have seen the entire time. The law has been searching for me, and I've just been like diddling around here in the swamp with Mrs. Downs. So it's super easy to try this experiment out for yourself if you want. Now, in case you guys are curious, how the mission ends is you're supposed to avoid the law and then return to Sister Calderon, who's at like one of the bigger churches in the city. And what I thought was hilarious is that I've got all these like blood marks on my actual shirt, and I was supposed to be retrieving her crucifix from that kid. It's like, I wonder what she thought when I showed up in all this blood. But anyways, this is what happens when you return the crucifix to her.
Every day. It's a new challenge, Father. Mr. Morgan!
Excuse me, Father. Sister, I got your cross.
You didn't.
Oh, I did.
Oh, I hope the boy...
He's fine, physically. Mentally, he's a piece of work, but who am I to say?
Brother Dorkins was right about you. You are the most wonderful man.
Brother Dorkins is greatly deceived, I'm afraid, but I'm happy to help a little.
Thank you. You see, it's a thing, but my mother gave it to me when I was a novice, shortly before she passed. You are the most wonderful man.
Oh, excuse me, Father. Sister, enjoy your day.
See, Father? Brother Dorkins.
But anyways, that is what happens if Arthur decides to kill Mrs. Downs instead of help her, or I guess run away from her in that instance, because at this point of the story, she's a prostitute in Saint Denis, and, you know, when she recognizes you, she obviously runs away. But I still thought this was a very interesting encounter. And have you guys tried this out for yourself? If you have, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.